What's going on, guys? How are your meatballs? We have Black Ops 6 Zombies out right now, and it's kind of crazy to consider the dynamic of Black Ops 6 in comparison to Black Ops 4, Black Ops Cold War. I mean, even Black Ops 3 and IW Zombies, we also had World War II. I mean, I know I'm listing every Zombies game at this point, but it's truly fascinating to consider the dynamic of Black Ops 6 in comparison to some of these other experiences. Now, I want to clarify really quickly. Some of you are going to be like, what's the point of this video? To be honest with you, there's plenty of videos on YouTube that are absolutely horrible in terms of what they provide for you, and right now I'm at a loss of what to even do, and I have a general idea on where we're gonna go, but for now I'm just gonna start throwing stuff up there because there's these periods of time where I do nothing and then I do everything, and that's honestly to blame why this channel is not triple the size that it should be. So we're gonna just continue to upload something. That said, saw it on Twitter today, I forgot who exactly posted it, but in Black Ops 6 Zombies we got CITADELLE, that's DLC 1, and on disc we had Terminus and Liberty Falls. That's 3 total maps, and today's December 13, 2024. Now to put that into perspective for you, Firebase Z for Black Ops Cold War Zombies released on February 4th, 2021. This means that at this point during the life cycle of Black Ops Cold War, we only had D Machine. And for an additional 63 days from this point, we only had D Machine. Now, as much as some of you, including myself, may love Black Ops 6 Zombies for a multitude of different reasons, there is no denying that now getting CITADELLE was huge for this game, because it wasn't necessarily that the launch content was getting boring. It was still really good and fun to play, but again, just adding another feather in our cap, another thing to be able to play, is absolutely massive. To the same capacity, during Black Ops 3 Zombies, having only Shadows of Evil and the Giant wasn't necessarily the greatest thing ever, but once the DLC started to come out, you know, people who didn't even love Shadows of Evil, and I can say with certainty that at the beginning of Black Ops 3, I liked Shadows of Evil, but I didn't love it. But as the DLC maps came out and I started to circle back to Shadows of Evil because I got a little bit bored at the time, for the temporary period of time that it was, I got bored with the DLC maps. I went back to Shadows of Evil. It really began to get better. Point being, obviously, choice and variation is huge, and now having a third map, another feather in our cap, is awesome because we can really vary up that gameplay experience. And that's the best part about these maps right here, right? If you think about it, Terminus Island is this massive map that we literally have boats that we can use to go to different islands, and a pretty big Easter egg quest, and a really intense boss fight. And then Liberty Falls is this other casual map with practically nothing going on. I mean, a couple of side Easter eggs, and it is fun to play, but in comparison to Terminus, there's really nothing going on, right? And the boss fight is literally just an ending sequence. Now we look at CITADELLE, we have the big contrast with Terminus and Liberty Falls, and we look at CITADELLE, and it's a perfect map for this game at this point in time. Like, it slots in literally directly in the middle of Liberty Falls and Terminus. I mean, as you would expect, it would be hard to create a map to the level of Terminus again, not necessarily in terms of, you know, how great it is, because some people could easily argue that CITADELLE is better, and I think I may agree with that. I'm still not sure yet because it's early, and I'm still looking for the sword buff, but with certainty we know the map wouldn't be to the level of Liberty Falls, because that was really just a casual map, and we all at this point understand the purpose of it, despite some of us maybe even having it as our favorite map, right? Now, either way, Citadel slots in perfectly because it is that map with a slightly deeper Easter egg than Liberty Falls, slightly more in-depth map than Liberty Falls, lots of side Easter eggs like both on-disc maps, but it also has a boss fight that's pretty cool as well. So it's definitely that middle of the pack map. And again, I don't mean in terms of quality or in terms of how good it is. This is literally just in terms of the scale, I guess is the best way to put it. It's literally a middle of the pack map, and it is perfect for this game. And it may have even jumped itself up to #1 right away, and we'll see. But one of the most important things in all of Call of Duty Zombies is having the contrast in experiences. We've seen it with Black Ops 3, and I know I talked about Black Ops 4 early and we haven't mentioned it yet, but I will. We saw it in Black Ops 3. We had Shadows of Evil and the Giant. Shadows of Evil was this crazy brand new complex map, and then the Giant was literally just Darius remastered, and it was so much fun to sit down and play the Giant, to the point where most people played the Giant over Shadows of Evil until the other maps started to come out and they circled back. Like I said, I was one of those people. I didn't even know that the Giant existed because it was one of my first games, and once my friend played it with me, I never played Shadows of Evil again until DLC 1. But that's my point, right? Having that contrast is really good. It's almost like a mental break. And then with World War II Zombies, which I mentioned briefly, we had Groston House, which admittedly is like Nocturne Totem level, but it was still something different. Then we had those Tortured Path survival maps in World War II Zombies. Now, in Infinite Warfare Zombies, all of the maps I kind of feel like were just these insanely cool, unique experiences, so it was a little different, and I really don't think it even needed a map to that capacity, and it worked out great without it, but that's very rare, and I'm honestly somebody who has a special place in my heart for Infinite Warfare Zombies, especially with the hate that it received during its life cycle. I was really a true Infinite Warfare Zombies lover during the period of time, and I have not much bad to say about IW. Like, I really do love it, and it's up there for me in the top 3 zombies of all time. Okay, but now let's talk about Black Ops 4 really briefly. Like I said, in Black Ops 6 Zombies, we have Dorit. Oh, no, we don't have Dorit in this game. What I meant to say is we have Terminus, Liberty Falls, and CITADELLE. 3 maps of varying degrees. In Black Ops 4, we had Blood of the Dead, Voyage of Despair, 9, and Classified. Now, out of those 4 maps, Classified was obviously the inferior one in terms of the girth and even purpose, right? It was meant to be a more relaxed map, and it worked out really well. I was somebody who found myself loving, and to this day still love Classified just because it's not crazy in depth. And I'm one of these hardcore Zombies fans to the point where you'll hear me say obnoxious things like, I don't care about the casual player. I don't want my hardcore experience ruined at the expense of the casual player. I want there to be a world in which both hardcore and casual players are satisfied, and I really think Black Ops 6 is nailing heavy on doing that, right? In years past, it was really just all, this is what it is, and I really didn't mind that at all, but in light of the current modern day we're in, they want to appease both types of players, and that's fine. I think Black Ops 6 does a good job. Either way, why I think Black Ops 4 is important in the situation is at this point in time, we had 5 maps in Black Ops 4 Zombies. I'm sorry, there's so many Black Ops 6, 4, Cold War, there's so many numbers going around right now, but within Black Ops 4 Zombies, we had 5 maps at this point in time. Dead of the Night released on December 12, 2024. Now, Ancient Evil didn't release for a while after that, and I think that's partially to blame for Black Ops 4's perceived failures, but either way, by the new year, we had 5 maps in Black Ops 4 Zombies. Do you understand how insane that is? But what was the issue with these 5 maps? Like I said, is great with Black Ops 6 Zombies, we have these varying degree of maps. In Black Ops 4, we had that one variation of Classified, and then the rest of them were all of these real, juicy, full-fledged experiences, which I think is great, but it was just kind of like the order, the sequence in which they were released, and they were just so jam-packed. And don't get me wrong, I love Black Ops 4 as well, I really do, but it was almost like there's so much to do, and it gets to the point where you get on, you're like, what do I want to play? Do I want to go in 9 and use a wonder weapon that's not insanely good, and I don't want to do all of that Easter egg quest right now, so okay, why don't we go to Voyage of Despair? Oh, okay, it's Voyage of Despair, and I'm not a Voyage of Despair hater either, but you know, it's Voyage of Despair. That leaves you down to Blood of the Dead, and it's like, oh, okay, but you know what, I just played Blood of the Dead for my last 3 games, so you know what, not really feeling it right now. What's that leave me with? Well, I can go to the smaller map Classified, I guess, but I've only played Classified and Blood of the Dead the last 4 out of the last 4 games I played each map twice. Now, what do I really want to do? And I know this is not really too much of a realistic situation, it seems, but a lot of the times, just notice if you get onto any game, or you have gotten onto any game, it may take you 30 minutes to decide what you even want to play, because there's a lot that goes into the experience, right? And I think that's part of the decision on simplifying zombies lately. I think that's kind of why they simplified stuff. Starting with Cold War, they wanted to make it more of a straightforward experience that you can just get in and play, and I get that. Has it ruined some areas? Yes, but I understand the decision, and this is kind of like where it helps. But either way, like I said, we have these 3 full-fledged maps, and I've kind of gone through them, and I already played Blood of the Dead. I really don't want to do 9 right now. I don't want to do Voyage, and I really want to play a map bigger than Classified. Now that leaves you with Dead of the Night, and although I like Dead of the Night, the vast majority of people in the Zombies community absolutely hate it and find it tedious, and at that point, you're kind of scratching your head saying, wow, there's 5 maps in this game. What do I really play? They're all kind of the same thing. They're all these big beefy maps, and the one smaller map that there is, I've played already. Point being, there's not too much variance in this situation, right? Despite every single experience being extremely unique and so in-depth and really cool and fun, the variance in terms of the gameplay style within each map just wasn't there, and I think that's where Black Ops 6 hits home so well. I mean, even think down to the wonder weapons in the game, right? In Liberty Falls, you have this jet gun wonder weapon that works completely different than the beam smasher, right? And then in if you want to look at another variance, another contrast to both of those things, we have a melee wonder weapon within CITADELLE. That is 3 completely different, unique things. So it really is kind of crazy to consider kind of where we were at this point during 2018. It was December 2018, Dead of the Night. I remembered I was sitting in class on my phone like I wasn't supposed to be, and I just remember seeing what? They dropped a Zombies map today? Like, there were rumors about them potentially doing something, but nothing was announced. I was like, you know, this is more of a pipe dream than anything. And they dropped Dead of the Night, and we were truly truly eating fantastic during Black Ops 4. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to downplay how great and how cool Black Ops 4 was during that period of time, and even is now. But I think there really is something to say about the contrast and the experiences that we have within Black Ops 6 Zombies, that despite the amazingness within Black Ops 4 Zombies, just didn't exist as well. Going back now, it's a little bit different, right? And even in Black Ops 3, if you're going to go back, you may go play Origins and Zombies Chronicles. You may go back and play Gorod Krovi Revelations. You may go play these experiences once and you're going to have a ton of fun, but there's something people forget, and it's that during the life cycle of the game, there is a completely different experience within than after the life cycle and going back to play. And that's something that one of my friends who just recently, I think it was Clippy, played Modern Warfare Zombies, right? He went back to play right at the end of Modern Warfare Zombies, and he said he was enjoying it for the most part. And I said, it's because you didn't have to play it for the entire, and again, I'm somebody, if you watch this channel, you know that I thought Modern Warfare Zombies, though not great, was cool for what it was. I really do think they did a good job at hitting it for what it was. Lots of big problems, including if you don't want to do contracts, what the heck do? You can't expect people to do the red worm every single game, but either way, I digress. There was a lot of cool Modern Warfare Zombies, but overall, the game, especially during the life cycle, after a week after the new update came out, there was literally nothing to do. Like, it was extremely boring. But this is something you don't see if you just go back and do what you have to do and leave, right? You're progressing and progressing and progressing, and then you're done. You never play it again. So some of this stuff that I'm bringing up now is similar to that, right? If you go back now and play those full-fledged maps in Black Ops 4, Black Ops 3, whatever it may be, you're not going to run into any of those issues I just mentioned, especially since there's so many options available, not only within each game, but across all of the games. You're not going to run into any of those issues I just mentioned, but I think it's important to take a step back and look at the overall shore that I just talked about across all the games, and then more specifically within each experience to see kind of how I feel like they learned from experience to experience. And I understand lots of the dev team, lots of the head guys even may have cycled out or changed positions, but the overall kind of lesson I feel like was still there, despite probably being the best COD developer and despite having the most talented team, Treyarch I would say it is, and by far making the best Zombies modes. It doesn't mean that they have nothing to learn, right? Even professional sports players learn something throughout their career. Otherwise, in baseball, for example, they wouldn't have hitting coaches, right? You need people there to give you feedback, to mentor you, to point things out. It's very important. Otherwise, you can change the way you do something ever so slightly and then get into the rhythm of doing something that way with bad results, and you just don't know how to claw yourself out, right? And that somewhat relates to games, but whatever. Like I said, I know this video was completely random. I was sitting here, I was on Twitter, I saw that, and I was like, you know, I started thinking it really is crazy how at this point during Black Ops 4 Zombies, we had 5 DLC maps, and I definitely had so much fun. But I remember during, it was like late November, and I was like, damn, you know, somehow, some way, I'm a little bored here. Like, I do remember saying that. Now, was it partially due to the Black Ops 4 mechanics? Absolutely, it was. There's no doubt about it. And again, I love Black Ops 4 Zombies, but there's no doubt in my mind that the mechanics, main one being the weapon damage scaling and the fact that Pack-a-Punch barely even does anything. Like, their initial goal for that Pack-a-Punch machine, I believe, is what happened in Cold War Zombies and even Black Ops 6 Zombies. Their goal was to have the damage scale like that somewhat, and it just never really did, and they didn't do anything about it. And that, in part, made the game feel a little tedious, a little too grindy, right? You gotta put too many bullets into enemies, into zombies to kill them, and that just led to people using the Helion Salvo. So that in part was to blame, but it definitely should not be overlooked at the fact that we had all of these massive experiences and there was not much of a cooldown. Like, there was only classified as a cooldown map. And I get in this game Liberty Falls is going to probably be the only cooldown map, but these maps are also different, right? None of these maps are necessarily going to be like Blood of the Dead in terms of, or even 9 or Voyage in terms of what it's going to take to get moving and get on your feet. And I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing, right? That's a different discussion for a different day. But Black Ops 6 maps are just, and Cold War maps are just designed a little bit differently, right? So yeah, just something to consider. I think I'm done rambling here. I'm trying to think to see if there's anything else I want to add in. But overall, I think Black Ops 6 Zombies is on a really good trajectory. Like I said, we have those 3 maps with different girths, if you will. And I think it's going to work out perfectly going forward with the additional maps that we get in this game. We still don't know how many maps we're going to get. I really hope it's not a Black Ops 4 situation in which we get DLC DLC 1 in December, and then we don't get DLC 2 until like late March or early April. Like, that would be absolutely ridiculous. More than likely, we're going to get it sometime in February, I would say, with Season 2, or Season 3 rather, and that's a fine wait. But as much as I love Citadel, if they're going to push DLC 3s, or sorry, the next map, there's so many numbers going on here, and I'm reading numbers on the screen, so it's confusing the crap out of me. But this next Zombies map that they're releasing this game following CITADELLE, if it was to release in March or April, that would be a massive problem. Even if it was an amazing map, right? That would be a massive problem, because by that point, not only would people be bored, but people would probably have like forgotten and lost their feel for the mode. It's a big rhythm disruptor if they just drop a whole game and then they don't release another update for it for a couple of months. And I understand that's kind of how it was during Black Ops 3. People forget that as well. During Black Ops 3's DLC lifecycle, we got Zetsubo, I think it was some point around April 19th, and we didn't get Gorod Krovi until I think, was it July 12th or 10th? I was initially correct. It was July 12th, the release for Gorod Krovi, and August 11th on Xbox. But at that point, DLC is released 1 month later for every release for Xbox and PC. So yeah, think about that. We went from April to July with the DLC release, and I got to tell you, during that period of time, it was very dry. And it just so happened that Black Ops 3 happens to be, probably still to this point, we'll see how Black Ops 6 plays out, but Black Ops 3 was and is the best zombies of all time. And if it wasn't, that game would have been dead if it wasn't for the maps being so good and the core mechanics being so good. So they really have to consider the DLC timing in this game, and if they release it sometime in February, even if it's mid-February, that's absolutely fine. But pushing it even March, early March, has to be early March. Pushing it to late March, early April would be insane and destroy the fabric of this game. Because I want you to consider that there are some rumors swirling around that the next DLC map won't come out until Season 2, and that's absolutely fine. Or sorry, Season 3. It won't come out until Season 3. We don't know how true that rumor is, but if that's the case, that's going to be a very long time. It's going to probably be some point in the middle of February, which is fine, but it's going to be a decent amount of time from now, and you're going to start to feel that period of time, especially in about 35 days from now. With every day that goes by, it's going to be like, we want new stuff, we want new stuff. However, what I will say is that within Black Ops 6 Zombies, there will more than likely be game modes added in and different stuff like that, so it's going to make the game feel fresh. And we even have the Christmas Liberty Falls coming in late December. So during this Christmas period of time to the end of the year, it's only December 13th right now, it's, you know, we'll be absolutely fine. Like, we really will. We'll have fun grinding what we have, there's no doubt about that. And then the clock starts, really. Once New Year's, once people start going back to school, really start going back to work, and we're in the new swing of 2025, that's when this game will start to really feel like, okay, when's the next content drop? Whether it be a mode, a perk, whatever it may be. That's when we'll start to feel it a little bit. We'll be a month out from this DLC as well. But for now, we're okay. But in the odd chance the developer did watch this video and they're still watching to this point in time, and they have any say at all on when the next Zombies release comes, just please consider Black Ops 4 Zombies and how the DLC release period, or at least the periods of time between DLC releases in that game, really hurt the game. This game is on an insane trajectory, but we cannot go months with nothing. Ending this video, I will give you my prediction, not really reading much of the leaks at all. I really don't know what to expect, so I'll give you my predictions. I would say that from now until the end of the year, we'll be absolutely fine, and then at some point, we'll be getting Season 2, I believe some point in January. Like, allegedly, according to Season 2 is expected to release in late January, and there are reports saying that we won't get a Zombies map until Season 3. So let's assume that that's true, which I really hope is not. I hope we get a Zombies map at Season 2 Reloaded, but let's assume that that's true, and we're maybe going to get a Zombies map every 1.5 seasons. We just got Season 1 Reloaded. I'll say at the beginning of Season 2, we get some kind of new Zombies game mode, maybe even a few of them, and we may get some kind of mention of the next map saying that it'll be coming next season, and that'll kind of make people believe it's going to come at the beginning of Season 3, which it probably will. That would also set us up for, I believe, early March now, somewhere around there, maybe late February. So at the beginning of Season 2, we get some game modes, possibly even during the Season 2 Reloaded update, we get new perks. Well, not multiple perks. Maybe we'll get one new perk. It's hard to really say because I just don't know if they're going to go down the route of giving us a new perk without a new map. And I don't know if they're really going to limit the amount of perks we have in the game, or if they're really going to like let it unload. Like maybe we'll get Mule Kick, Double Tap, you know, all these crazy perks that we thought we would never really get. Who knows? Maybe we'll get them. But I think the initial launch of Season 2 Reloaded, or Season 2, is going to have a big game mode drop, and that'll kind of try to hold us over until Season 3 with a new map. All right, I know I've said this multiple points throughout this video, and it probably doubled in size from every point I've said I'm done, but I'm actually done now. Let me know what your thoughts on this are down below in the description. Nope, not in the description, in the comments. It's 3 a.m. when I'm recording this, so I'm shocked. Let me know what your thoughts are down below, and I'll see you guys later. Take care of you meatballs.
I've been wishing for some